What's going on, good people? It's your girl, Dr. Brown, baby, and the one and only.
What's happening, good people? You already know what it is. Straight from the south side of ATL, the outcast, the podcast himself. It's the Mister. What's going on, Darker?
What up, though? How's it hanging down there on the south side?
Hot. It's hot. It's hot. Same hot it was last week is even hotter this week, it feel like.
Yeah, it's hot everywhere. It's just hot, no matter what side you are.
Yeah. Look, man, like we catching it better than some places. I was just watching with like Arizona has been like over 110 degrees for like 18 days running. I want no parts of that, but it's still hot here.
No, speaking of the hot weather, I mean, was it yesterday? Did you see the air yesterday? I've been in Georgia basically my whole life, and I walked outside yesterday morning. I ran back inside. It was gray outside. You couldn't see the sky.
It was an odd color.
It was awful.
It was a very weird color. I'd never seen that myself, and it wasn't a pleasure to be in because it was hot as shit out there. It was like almost like a rainy sky, but it wasn't rainy at all. Like it was weird.
Exactly. Yeah. So y'all be careful out there when you're out here in this heat. I mean, it's nice and all. I love the heat too, but bad air is real. So be careful.
And it's hard to sleep because you don't breathe good in bad air, and that leads to even more problems. You don't want to have be restless and all that kind of stuff. Get good air quality, close your windows, and stay inside.
And you wake up with an asthma attack like I did. Yeah, be careful.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, Doc, what's going on in the world this week you want to speak on? Oh, excuse me.
So, I mean, I will say one thing that has nothing to do with our topics, but I will say I have been very disappointed in the summertime music. There really isn't any good music on the radio right now outside of like Drake and 21. I did hear the new Young Thug. I know I'm late, but it's got a good vibe to it. But this summer has not been a good summer of music. It's a bunch of trash on the radio. So I've been having to like find other ways to jam in my car.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I don't even listen to hip hop anymore. I don't listen to rap anymore. So my opinion is 100% invalid on this topic. There used to be a time where I have a hell of a strong opinion about that. These days, not so much.
I remember that
Afro beats, and that's pretty much all I listen to right now. Afro beats and old shit.
Yeah. No, but that's my little comment for the time. But if you like, let's go on and get into it because we're talking about music anyway. So tell them about lynching songs, lynching music that's out.
Well, apparently, a country star, I forget his name, released a song called "Tried in a Small Town," and essentially, the crux of what he's saying is that bring that Black Lives Matter shit, bring that protesting for your right shit to a small town. We'll take good care of you. And now he's a little concerned, or now he's a little disturbed because he's receiving blowback because he doesn't have an anti-anything message. It's just a song about growing up in small town America.
Of course it is. Now, here's the thing. I may not be from a small town, but I am from the South, and I understand small town talk. When you're talking about bring that to a small town, you're talking about, come on if you want to. That's what he's saying. You come on over here, you want to, and you may not make it back home. It's very clear to me.
Right. That big city shit don't fly down here, boy. That's what he was trying to say in a nutshell. But I will say he's done what they always do in these situations, and he's playing the victim like nobody's business. Because Lord knows when they get caught up in their own bullshit and it's time to pay the piper, the first thing they do is play the victim to the nth fucking degree. And that's what he's doing right now.
White people do that well. White guilt, white, victimhood, reverse racism. I mean, it's ridiculous the lengths these people will go to for being terrible people. Not all white people, but the white people that we're talking about. Terrible people, but somehow they can always flip the table to be the victims. Come on.
Right. A perfect illustration of that is someone who does that with no degree of irony whatsoever is Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm not sure, and this is another sidebar. I'm not sure if you saw what she did yesterday in a special hearing, but she decided it was a good time to start featuring Hunter Biden porn. Straight up. Hunter Biden porn in a congressional session. Pictures of everything. And it's like,
are you serious?
I remember how she went after I remember how she went after the congressman from New York, Jamal. I forget his last name. And she was like, oh, he's loud, and oh, he's scary, and yada, 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 and he scares me, and I felt threatened. And I'm like, you are the loudest, meanest, most angry, nasty motherfucker I've ever seen in Congress. How dare you pretend to be scared of anybody in any circumstance when you wear your white privilege like it's a goddamn piece of fucking jewelry? Are you serious?
He hasn't tried to run up on somebody before. She has run up and accosted verbally people on the steps.
David Hogg, he was fucking 16. He was a child. She literally assaulted a child who was a victim of a school shooting. This woman is the definition of garbage, but she loves to play that victim role.
But, and I'll tell you, going back to this song, Do It in a Small Town, whatever the hell that shit's called, we don't give him love here. That song came out, I think, in March, but hasn't gotten flack for it until now because apparently the video came out. So adding insult to the injury of the lyrics themselves, and then film part of the video at the steps of a courthouse where a Black person had been lynched before. So it's like, just please be mindful, y'all. Like, there are people that choose locations on purpose. They may not say it out loud, but where they choose to be speaks volumes. You could say the same thing about dirty industry. They put stuff in Black neighborhoods, right? Like, there's certain reasons why you see more cops in Black neighborhoods than white neighborhoods. They're trying to intimidate, right? And they're trying to oppress, and that's the whole point. And I will say, though, shout out to Sheryl Crow for saying something and calling him out as bogus. There's no place for violence, and your little small town shit does not help right now.
Absolutely. One thing about, it's all fun and games when y'all singing songs and watching Fox News, but when y'all bring that shit to people and you get your ass dog walked down the street, you know what I'm saying? You gotta understand there's consequences behind that. And that country singing Donald Trump is not gonna be there when you say wild shit that gets your ass whooped. So just be prepared. You know what I'm saying?
But they aren't prepared, Marcus, because they were raised by white women who don't know how to say no, who never gave them any consequences to any bad shit that they did. I've said it a gazillion times. I'll say it again. This is white women's problem. He was raised by a white woman. It's her fault.
Speaking of, look, speaking of not wanting to pay the piper and running from blame, although it isn't a white woman this time, we have a brother named Travis King that went over the deep end yesterday. So long story short, my man is in the military. He's a private in the military, and he was headed for some disciplinary actions back in the States. So he decided he was obviously stationed over in South Korea. So I'm not sure what he did. I don't know if more has come out about what he did, but long story short, he knew his time was up and they would bring him back to the States more likely to be court-martialed. And he decided while he was in the airport to sneak off with a tourist group that was looking at the disputed area, North and South Korea border area. And that motherfucker said, I'm gone, literally, and took off. They said the soldiers was chasing him. The little lady was like, the soldiers were chasing him, but he was too fast. He was, he had that good military training. Man said he wasn't going to jail. And I don't know what he did, but my man said, I'd rather live in North Korea than go to jail in America. And that tells you a lot, folks.
Doesn't that say something, though? Like, think about it. Think about, what we know to be true in this country. The prison industrial complex, Black folks going to prison more, all the Black men up in jail. And I'm pretty sure military prison is all bad. You know what I'm saying? And so, but for this Black man, what I see essentially, and I could be wrong, but choosing North Korean prison over American prison says a lot. Now, I did read today that his people said that they had never really seen him act in this way before. He's been off for a minute, and apparently his I think it was like his 6-year-old nephew has recently passed away, and he really didn't take it very well. So it has to do with mental health, right? But I can't, as a Black person in America, I can't say that he was like, you know what, prison in America is probably shitty. I might have a better shot over here in North Korea, even though we know they have work camps. They don't have a lot of food in North Korea, and people don't eat a lot. They've disappeared and all that. I don't know, man. I don't know how he found himself running across the border from the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, from South Korea and North Korea. I don't know.
All I can think about when I think of North Korea is when the North Korean soldier defected to South Korea And when they, took him to the hospital, they found worms, like 3 feet long worms inside of him, where he had intestinal worms and shit. Yeah, man, things are bad in North Korea. So I don't know what Travis King was thinking about, bro, but I don't know if that was your best move, man. Them people got it hard over there. They got it hard over there. That's like a different level of government and shit. So good luck, bro. They hadn't caught him yet. I don't know what's going on with that cat, but good luck, because you're going to stick out like a sore thumb over there. Ain't no blending.
The thing is, I don't know. Like, I don't know if North Korea will be open to trading him, because, like, I see, like, North Korea and Russia, and like in China, like, they're, and so this idea that, like, Russia don't give up nobody without getting something in return. Right. So I would assume North Korea will be the same, but I'm wondering, how valuable is this American soldier? How much is the U.S. willing to give up in order to get him back? It's a good question. I don't know, because he was going to be court-martialed, right? So maybe he's less value. I don't know how the military works, but there are a lot of factors in here that could change things. I don't know.
Right. And depending on what he's accused of, I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. Because if he's accused, I hate to always go there, but when it's military, you tend to think domestic violence, things of that nature, maybe rape, something of that, nature. And if it's something like that, leave his ass over there. You know what I'm saying? His life ain't good in North Korea. It ain't. I guarantee you that shit.
It's not. No, it really isn't.
You choose that penalty. Sometimes you should let people choose their penalty. You want to jump your ass across that border? Go ahead, bro. You thought it was bad over here.
I was really surprised that he was Black. I mean, my jaw literally dropped. And I was like, there's got to be more to the story, because mental health in the world has declined for multiple reasons, COVID being one of them. Mental health for Black folks and young Black people has gotten even worse. And, we have to, I want to support our Black people in all of our various places where we're living, but like, how do we do that when the system we have really doesn't give a shit about us? So I don't know what to do. All I know is our people are not well. Our people are not well.
Unfortunately, keeping with the theme of our people are not well, Carlee Russell, whom we spoke of earlier this week in our last show, that was the young woman who found the toddler on the side of the road, who, speaking with her family, had called 911 to report the crime. And while she was speaking with her family, she disappeared. Mm-hmm. Then 2 days later, she pops up on her doorstep, banging on the door. I'm home. I'm back. Mm-hmm. And she lied.
We think things lean heavily in the direction of her lying.
Right. The right now they're saying she was searching things like, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? I forget what else she was searching. It
she was to be taken as well. Yeah, and there's like an age limit also on an Amber Alert. Right.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
That don't look good.
That and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but right. And I hate to say it, but like the day she disappeared, I felt like something wasn't right, because it felt like she did all the right things and still got quote unquote captured. You know what I'm saying? Like that situation just never felt real to me. Now there's been situations in this town that felt very real. Like, I don't know if you saw the girl in Fayetteville who was kidnapped by her ex-boyfriend, went in a Wingstop, pulled her out of there, and drove her to the woods and shot her. Right. Yeah. Now that seemed real. Yeah. This situation right here just didn't. I don't know. It just seemed. It seemed a little far-fetched. I could have been wrong, but I'm just glad authorities took it to be real. And it's unfortunate that she lied, because things like that affect the next person who's an actual victim of a crime from being believed. You pretty much just fucked over the next person in line.
I don't know. I think that yes, things are leaning towards looking like not all of those elements of the story are true, but I'm also not going to sit here and say that Black women are not kidnapped and trafficked in this country.
Absolutely.
This didn't seem something like wild to me. I just thought like she was just lucky because she was on the phone, right? Like, had she not been on the phone, maybe we wouldn't have heard the story. Like, I'm sure hundreds of thousands of other Black women, Black people, children, men, everybody. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that there were a couple of elements that worked in her favor, to your point, to kind of make it big. But I do believe whatever happened, I'm glad she's home. That to me
absolutely
is important. She's okay. I still have questions.
Right, because my thing is, if she needs mental health, get it. But at the end of the day, if this was clout chasing for the gram, they need to lock her ass up. Period. You don't play like that. Too many people getting too many situations missing and shit that we can't find their ass for us. Everybody to put out thoughts and prayers and everybody thinking about you and putting the word out. Like people went extra hard because like, yo, like everybody paying attention to this black woman case, and then you a fucking lie. Like, bruh, like you really, really made it tough for the next person. You really, really, really did.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I could see like on its face, perhaps, but I think that anyone else who's in that situation, maybe with those same set of circumstances, would probably find themselves being looked for. I mean, she was on the phone. That just really just like changes everything, right? Like who's actually has the opportunity to be on the phone when they're being kidnapped? You know what I'm saying? Right. So like, that in itself. But I mean, I will say that like I would be surprised if this was like a mental health thing. Like not surprised, but just like it seemed like she was a young lady that had like a lot of opportunity. You know, she had like both her parents, you know, like, you know, she was not like a loner, you know, it didn't, I have not heard anything that talks about her having other mental health challenges in the past. I did hear a guy on Instagram yesterday, I thought made a really good point. I think it's really unfortunate how those in the social media space have really turned on Carlee and are wishing bad things on her and like are making jokes. I think that it's inappropriate. And I think that the people are so like into it and just really want to take her down. But like what this guy was saying, it was like, okay, now you're going to spend all this energy trying to like discredit her and try and put her in jail. Right. But you got these other situations where some of these Karens out here been doing shit. They get a slap on the wrist and keep it moving. So no, right. I don't think she should go to jail. You know, if she has a mental health issue, then she needs to get mental health counseling. She doesn't need to go to jail. We know what jail does. We just talked about jail. Jail don't do nothing for you.
Being honest, what that goes back to is that so many people on social media specifically ascribe so much of whatever's going on in pop culture to their own individual personality that they feel like they have a personal stake in what's going on. And I think that's why people are wishing ill on her, because people were going hard for that young lady. And there's all that tells me is that you're a genuine human being that was doing the right fucking thing. You don't have to take venom out on her because she lied, like you're saying. At the end of the day, all you prove is you're a good person. You know what I'm saying? Don't let somebody's whatever they're doing, whatever they're going through, distract you from the fact that you did the right thing. Understand you got a little venom and a little heat because you feel like you was played and you was made a fool. But if you really think about it, you weren't. You actually did the right thing when it was asked of you to do the right thing. It's just unfortunate that the person behind everything didn't have the same good conscience and the same good intentions that you had when you were riding hard for it.
Yeah.
Does that work?
I mean, it's a little closer. Yeah. I did see a statement from her mom or her parents earlier today, and apparently some kind of press conference scheduled today. It may have happened already, but we don't know enough. We only know what we've been told. And any black person in this country got to know story ain't over yet. Story is not over yet, you know? And so until we know all the facts, then I'm not going to throw her under the bus. No, I'm not going to do that.
Right. Because we know you can't just trust the police. Just because the police department this city or that.
Alabama. Okay. So like try again. Come on.
Right. So yeah, no doubt with that. But like I said, the good thing is, well, we can't control it. She's home and she's of sound mind and body, hopefully. You know what I mean? We get the scoop as to what happened otherwise after that. Yeah. So dog, that was a nice and smooth 20 minutes. You got anything else for these good people before we get up out of here?
Man, I don't, man. I just hope the folks are able to stay cool as possible out here in the sun, but still wanting the folks to enjoy it. We are dead smack in the middle of summer, so go get you some. That's it.
Absolutely, man. Y'all better find one of them. What they used to have at Six Flags, they used to have little mist things blowing the water out. Go find one of them and get underneath that, man. Get out here and get cool and stay cool. Don't be out here cutting grass and running laps trying to be Superman. That heat will take your ass out. Respect the heat and it'll respect you. All right. Hydrate and be good, y'all. Y'all take care. Peace.